So Swain, no birds this week.
Yeah, man, he's busy. He's a busy guy. He's got things going on. Surprised he's not here most weeks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, that's what he's claiming, but I heard he was like, he just like was talking shit about you.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He like he was like, I think Swain is dumb. I don't want to be in the same room with him. And I was like, all right, but we're not in the same room. It's a podcast. And he's like, oh, that's worse. I have to hear his voice. So I don't know. That's just what I heard.
That sounds like some punk shit someone would say after having seen them in real life. When you say my face, birds. Why you say to my face?
Why didn't you say it to his face 2 weeks ago, huh?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it then? When we were in Tampa?
Yeah. Intimidated by my big muscles.
I bet he broke Kelly's foot. Welcome to Crucible Radio, podcast for all things Destiny PvP. It's me, Bones, and it's Swain, just us.
During that music, I typed up my fight email.
your fight birds. Email to birds. This is a formal request that you accept my challenge to fight.
Meet me in the schoolyard after the podcast.
Whenever you can get there at your earliest convenience. Let's hope he's checking his emails. Yeah, he's gone this week, but we brought in a special guest a little bit later on to go over some exotics that we got to preview today. We're pretty hype on that.
Man, there's just like a constant stream of
Destiny we're on a roll.
Content right now. And it's like if you miss a day, like you're busy at work or something like that, and you like look through your phone, you're like, oh no, I missed everything.
Or if you're like me that starts work literally the same second that all of Bungie's stuff gets posted, and you're like, I just clocked in and I've got this video. I'm like running to the bathroom to watch it. So like, that's my life.
Bones has got to poop really quick whenever he gets here. Like every time he gets here.
I just save it for the morning when I get there. I grab my coffee, sit down, get ready to write, and go to the bathroom to watch Destiny content. All the time. Yeah. It was pretty cool. This is a very hype trailer, and we'll go through them later with our guest. And otherwise, still playing 6v6.
Yeah, it's a
Destiny 2's lit right now.
Yeah, I
keep saying that.
I think that, like I said last week, it was like the telltale thing is like if you're seeing people get like really large amounts of kills in quick play, like 50s, 60s. I think Ankuch was getting 60 kills in quick play today, and that is absurd. And the gig said he has like 8 7th columns, something like that. It's fun. It is intense in quick play right now, and I love it so much.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm so glad it's been. I was sort of worried like maybe it would settle after 2 days, but it's still fun. I'm sure it is settling to some degree with the new system, but either way, 6v6 feels good. I'm happy to, what's the term, like eat crow from complaining about it a while back. I used to not like 6v6, but right now it's what the game needs. It feels really good, and there's also lots of stuff to do. Last week I was saying that I miss controller. Like I want to go back to using a scuff. To some degree, that's still true, but man, we recorded that episode. I was saying I kind of was feeling the scuff. And I played a little bit on PS4 with my girlfriend. I was just like showing her a mission and stuff. And I was like, controller, yeah. And then I went up and I was like, okay, I can't handle these frames. And I'm going to go play some more 6v6. And I went back to mouse and keyboard. It feels really good on mouse and keyboard. And I think I want to stick with this now.
That's cool.
It's a good sign, right? Like it's good that I'm feeling competent on it.
If I could get to that point where I'm like, I feel like I wouldn't be wasting my time when playing, I would definitely play with mouse and keyboard. But like the run up of like learning it and getting your like muscle memory good, that's like time invested that I don't deem valuable right now. So it's like
it felt it felt definitely off when I started, but it was like the thing making me do it was that I truly believe I couldn't like be happy on my scuff because of the paddle. Like it was just like, I cannot use this, therefore I must. But with my controller available up until then, there was nothing really pulling me towards it. And now if I do fix my controller or if I get a new one, I think I'm happy to sort of consider both, because what I truly realize is that like my skill ceiling is always going to be really, really high above my head. So if one's feeling good, I'll use it. If the other's feeling good, I'll use it. Or if I just really want to play with a hand cannon or something, great. But if I really want to play with Huckleberry, just like plug in the controller and switch back and forth. So that's fine. I like being both. But yeah, once again, saying what I said last week, but I'm just proud that I used it. And I actually used it and played comp last night for a good long while and was a little shaky with the new mode or with that mode, which I hadn't been in for a bit, but ultimately felt strong on the mouse and keyboard and competent enough to do what I do. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm not promising anything ever. For me though, quick play this week, I was trying to put my finger on it for the longest time there, and it kind of clicked. It was like, the reason quick play feels so good right now is because, at least for me, is that literally everything I can use feels viable in this environment. Like, shuffling through my dim and just kind of being like, for a while there, like 4v4 quick play, I was like treating it very much like comp. Like I would switch out, like kind of go outside my comfort zone and do like a different thing, but immediately be like slapped back to reality. Like, you need to go back to, Graviton. I'll get outplayed in a gunfight and be like, crap. Like, all right, back to the thing. Like, I gotta do what's strongest here if I want to enjoy it. But right now, like, I was shuffling through a lot of guns that I haven't used in a long time last night. Yeah. And specifically, I was using Skyburner's Oath in 6v6 quick play last night. And it's like easy mode, man. It's so easy to get kills with it. And like, I think my loadout was like Antiope, Skyburner's Oath, and like the Timeline's Vertex, I think it's called. Because I saw, was it Lucky or Butt White?
BW.
Yeah, it was Butt White at the Scuff tournament. He was using it. I was like, wow, that actually looks really nice. So I was using that last night as well. But Skyburner's Oath, man, it's so like, you hit those like really long, that bullet will turn around a corner. Like if you really need it to, it'll like turn the corner and track someone. So give it a try. Never aim down sights with it. Don't aim down sights.
I just got the catalyst for that. So
yeah, I mean, maybe I'll use it. You said that we rated the night before and you're like, I guess Skyburners. I was like,
we were all like, I didn't want it because I don't have time to grind this. And then it literally dropped like the next chest. I'm like, fine. Yeah. I want Risk Runner, really, most of all.
Man, I got the Ancreus catalyst. We'll see how much time I put into that.
Yeah, my plan is to grind up the Sturm one because it gets a sizable range boost. I think that's amazing. I have no desire to grind up Graviton Lance right now. It's such a hassle.
Was it Drewski that posted the after match totals of him using Sturm and Drang, like with the catalyst?
Oh yeah, he loves it.
It was nuts. Well,
my bragging rights for this past 2 weeks is that the first 2 games that I put Sturm and Drang on, I ran out of medals in both. And then, first one was on Bannerfall. I was like, I'm not having a good map for this, but at least on PC, that Sturm is super, super tight. And the bonus bullet, that extra damage, while, if you're really forcing the 2-tap, you can maybe try to make a cool play, but really just using it to finish off a Guardian or something like that. And I'm shooting into crowds, getting triple downs and stuff. It's just a really solid hand cannon with a really big mag. And that's what makes it super comfy. And you can stay in engagements longer because you're not having to back out and reload. Drang, not so great on mouse and keyboard for me, for sure. But it's worth it just to like occasionally get a cleanup and then get that bonus bullet.
Ain't that the thing about that pair though? Controller, you're gonna do great with Drang.
Yeah, and then like
mouse and keyboard, you'll do well with Sturm.
It's a real yin and yang for sure.
Outside of that, is there, like you said, is there any other catalyst you're looking for? I know I would love to get the sleeper catalyst because that thing
would be cool.
Brings it down to like, I think it's 700 is the charge time, and it's currently at 850, and that would put it below, like it puts it way below linear fusions actually. Like what is it? Dead Ender is like 790, and I think Tarantula is 790 as well. So
yeah, and it's just like a delete button for supers because it does so much like
just
singular damage.
Singular damage. You don't even have to hit headshots with it. You literally just aim for the body. So
yeah, it's basically like what you could do with Whisper, but you don't have to aim as well. So that one I'd love that one. I want Risk Runner. I think that's a great fun gun, and I've had some good games with it. It's just like one of those super stable ones, but that range boost is pretty absurd. And otherwise, I have a Masterworked Polaris Lance, and that's really nice. It's not a bad gun. I got probably the world's most boring Slayer medal. And I think I'm still gonna tweet it because it's funny. But I was like playing late at night. I was watching a YouTube video, like not really on my other monitor, of like the costume designer for Black Panther describing the armors and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like my computer picked up that audio and I saved this clip. And it's literally just like me standing in the middle of Altar of Flame, like shooting into the back corner. And like there's just explosions and I can't see who's dying. And I even like turn away eventually. And Shax is just like, another one. Oh my God, it's amazing. And I'm like, what? And it's like, I got a Slayer medal literally just shooting into the corner while like some woman talks about Black Panther's armor. Like, this is the worst clip I've ever made.
Oh man. We're really close to getting the Rat King catalyst too.
Oh man. Yeah. Jeez. That gun's fun. Yeah.
And fighting line.
The catalyst system is fantastic just overall. I think it's brought a lot of oomph back to the game. And, I can't grind strikes for 10 hours a day, but it makes me play a few. And
that's
nice
totally
to just
like
do other stuff.
When there's nothing to do, it's like, you just want to do a bunch of strikes right now? Because we might get a catalyst, a small chance at a catalyst here. I don't know. Like I applaud everyone that goes and like gets all of them, because that is more than I'll ever be able to do. I do like that I can have like a path towards like the ones I want. Be like, all right, if I want the sleeper, I got to go play the raid. I got to do the raid layer. So, do that soon. Yeah.
Well, we got a couple pieces of news. Thursday was a busy day today. Before we get to our next segment after this, but couple big announcements. One, well, sort of vaguely described a new system, but there was a Game Informer article about mods and about the milestones and stuff. And decent amount of information. Basically, the mod system we have now for weapons and armor is like going out the window. They're just going to redo it. There's no blue mods. You just get legendaries, and they don't change the weapon element, but they do more than just sort of add that 5 power level thing. That's no longer a thing. But they're doing a lot of new stuff, and it looks like there's already a few like tough decisions to make, because we saw one. It gives boosted accuracy while airborne. I think we'd heard about that earlier.
That's called Icarus Grip. And that will improve your weapon's accuracy while airborne. And then there's Radar Tuner, which decreases the time it takes for your radar to return after you've done aiming your weapon. And Targeting Adjuster, which is just better target acquisition, so aim assist.
And already I'm like, okay, target acquisition, that's great all around, but an SMG with the aerial, like that's really good. That would be really solid. Or like Radar Tuner with a scout rifle or
immediately, I was just like, I'm going to get the Radar Tuner one. I'm going to put it on my Silicon. That's going to be what's going to live on that gun. And like all of it, like immediately, it just like outside of the mod system now, the mod system now is like I can't find what I like about it. Like I can't be like, oh, I'm going to, add this to my armor and make it special. Whereas this is like a very specific perk, like something that I really like. And if I could put it on a thing, it'll make it instantly better. And
definitely
noticeably better. Like I'll be able to like, oh yeah, like I added this thing to it and I could tell. I could feel the, the radar time. I could feel the airborne accuracy. So I'm already like, I'm going to turn in a bunch of my gunsmith materials that I'm hoarding and I'm going to get me some new mods.
Oh, and then the next one. Oh boy. Should I just do the honors? Should I read this?
Yeah. I mean, like this is only literally everything everybody's asking for forever.
Okay, so this is a message from Noosk from the Twab. And he says, hello, friends. That's my Noosk impression. If you're a sharp-eyed PvP enthusiast, you may have noticed from some Forsaken coverage that the weapons are doing a bit more damage than they do in the current version of Destiny 2. If you're a seasoned Destiny 2 player, you may then extrapolate the possibility of a global lethality pass on weapons and abilities that may or may not be in the pipe to go live when Forsaken is released. I'm here to quickly confirm that along with the weapon slots and ammo availability, we have globally adjusted the time to kill in the Crucible. If you'd like more details, join us on stream. We'll get into it. See you then. Stream coming August 7th, I believe. But yes,
we were
looking at this. We're looking at this footage of this new breakout mode or whatever it's called. I'm like, that's a 600 auto. And we're like, that's doing 21 to the head. And they do 17 now. Confirmed, baby.
Man.
They've adjusted time to kill. They've made it much, much longer. It takes 5 seconds to kill. All they said was adjusted. It's a big psych. Gotcha.
No one was really specific. There was definitely a bunch of people saying the wrong thing on Twitter. Like,
well, we don't know what it means. We'll talk with CoolGuy, our guest, in a little bit. He made a good observation about precision damage versus body shot damage. So there's a lot to learn here, but I think it's fair to say kills are getting a little faster. The game's going to get a little sped up. It's what everyone's been asking for, and I hope it makes people happy. I'm excited. I'm really, really looking forward to.
I just want to go back to like complaints being really small things, like, oh, we're tired of the pulse rifle meta. Like, yeah, I love that complaint. Let's go back to that complaint.
I'm so excited. I feel like I have a new game to learn with the mods, with the new exotics, with the weapon tuning, with the subclasses and stuff. I feel like there's genuinely going to be a huge shakeup in just what it means to be good in the Crucible and stuff like that. And with the loadouts, there's so much to do and it's all changing literally at once. And I'm excited for that early period where it's just running wild. Anything is happening.
Oh, not to mention that we're going to have
what was that?
The solstice holding us over for a month. Like you thought you had too many catalysts to search for, like raid layers to do.
My girlfriend's gonna kill
the whisper, like the whisper thing. Like, no, you're gonna have so much to do, and then September is gonna roll around, and then you might as well just quit your job.
It's making me tired already thinking about it.
Yeah, man. This week we stayed up. It was like 3 a.m. when we finished the raids the other day, and I had to wake up at like 6. Like literally just like 3 hours of sleep. I was like, wow, I was grumpy all day. And I was like, why am I so angry and grumpy? Like, oh, I got 3 hours of sleep last night. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I want it. I wanted the catalysts. Give me the catalysts.
Well, there's a lot to unpack in the coming week. We've got a stream coming up real soon.
We also
going to show that off. We got a lot to learn.
We also have our Discord. In our Discord, we have a little event happening.
Yeah, baby. Yes, I forgot. This is going to be hype. This is going to happen alongside Solstice. You can do everything in Destiny, but you can do it for a fun reason. Check this out. Go ahead.
So in the Discord, we have a little thing called Faction Wars. It's not necessarily going to be tied to the Faction Wars like did previously. But you're going to be able to pledge your loyalty to either me or just me to Swain Orbit, Future Warbones, or Bird's Monarchy. You will pledge your allegiance to one of those and you'll be able to contribute to like a total. Like you're just going to log all the things that you do in Destiny. And whatever, faction does the most / there's little like points bonuses for like fastest raid, fastest strikes, like all that. It's all going to be tallied up, and at the end of the week we'll have a winner and they will be crowned. There's some other details to it too, but that's the beginning of it.
Yeah, it's like a scavenger hunt. So you don't have to grind out like 1,000 tokens to rep your faction.
Yeah, if we're not tying you to Titan.
We're literally not going to do that. There's not even a Lost Sector related one, I don't think. But yeah, challenges like fastest Nightfall or best Nightfall score without like fewest amount of kills or something like that. So it's going to be like a cool scavenger hunt. And you can do it with squads. You guys can all just pick a faction. You don't have to be in our Bungie Net clans. It's unrelated. Just show up and like represent these clans. If you like me, let's go. I need some champions here.
I feel like me and you, Bones, since Birds isn't here, let's call a truce for right now. Okay. And we both will just trash Birds at Birds Monarchy on this episode. So that you don't want to join that clan. Like, you don't even have to be in the clan, but Swain and Bones, yeah, we're the best. We're the coolest. Have you seen Bones' hair? It's beautiful.
Yeah. Have you seen Swain's mustache?
It's great.
It's in his name.
It's in my name. I also won
this agreement.
I won
here.
Best Burger in Philly. Like that.
And I won Best Eyes in high school.
There you go. Yeah, see? I'll cook you a burger. Bones will, pretty eyes you.
Yeah, I'll just send you a selfie, I guess. No, I won't. But anyways, it'll be really fun. And we got some secret prizes planning too for a few goofy challenges and highlight clips in the Crucible that week. So play Destiny like regular, grind out your Solstice of Heroes, but choose a faction and do a little trash talking in the Discord and represent. So it'll be really fun. That's coming August 7th, right after the stream. It'll just be live for that week. It'll be fun. So check out the Discord for more information.
Yeah, it should be announcements as we get closer.
Yeah. All right, should we get to our guest here? We got a fun segment and a little conversation.
But not
for that
until we do some music, right?
Y'all, the wait is over. How long have we been waiting for the next SANDRIDER album to drop? Too long. But it's here. It's SANDRIDER. There's only one SANDRIDER out there. If you're not in the know, friend of the show and maker of all things shooty, John Wisniewski, a bit of a music fellow. Been in a couple of bands over the years, and his current band, SANDRIDER, well, they're just something special. As you can tell, listening to this song. So, you know what? You need to go. SANDRIDER.bandcamp.com. Check them out on Spotify, iTunes, all the places. It's just, it's just good. It's good. I like it. Go listen to it. SANDRIDER.bandcamp.com. I'm going to be playing this album for the next 8 weeks. However, if you're a musician and you would like it to be on the show 9 weeks from now, you can do it. All you got to do is send an email. It's crucibleradio@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm assuming there was some sort of break before what I'm saying right now, so welcome back as we went on pause. Anyways, getting to the good part of the show. We've got a very special guest with us this week. He does great reviews. He's a good player himself. You can call him a cool guy because that is his name. Welcome to the show, CoolGuy.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
It's good.
That's like the best YouTube name.
Now, I really enjoy what you guys do here, man. You guys have been doing it for a long time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It really has been a long time.
Good for the community, dude. Good for the community.
It's been been a long time.
Yeah.
Cool guy. Let me know about where you got your YouTube name.
Oh man.
Yeah, what's this come from?
So, all right. So in high school, man, I was in Texas, and it was a huge high school. We had like 2,000 graduating students, Southern Texas, right? And so I always wore what I wanted to wear. Like, you can catch me like in a Hurley shirt with some Jordans on, with like, it didn't matter, right? I just wore whatever. But everybody was kind of cliquey, you know, there's the skater guys and the, you know, the athletes, but I was just cool with everyone. And sooner or later, people kind of noticed that and just called me Cool Guy. So, because I mean, in high school especially, man, I didn't really care, right? I mean, I was just kind of nice to everyone. Everyone was nice to me, so it just worked out. And that's the origin.
So just a solid human being. Okay.
I thought you were going to say, so in high school, out of 2,000 people, I was the coolest. Therefore, I became Cool Guy.
No, man. A lot of people in my high school.
There was a rating system, and I had the most points.
Yeah. Voted on by my peers. Well, anyways, how did you get into Destiny? We always got to ask. How did we all end up here? What's your story?
I mean, I'm a huge Bungie fan, man. When I first started playing, I mean, Halo, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And I first started playing Halo, dude. And I mean, I have a long story on it, really, if you guys have time. But I started playing the Xbox, you know, LAN parties in Halo. And then I ended up getting a 360. And I met my wife at the time. But we couldn't get Halo 3 when it came out. I never played Xbox Live. And we actually got the system, or the game, before we got the system. So like 4 months later, we ended up getting it. So I eventually got onto Xbox Live, man. I started playing some of the multiplayer, obviously. And I was doing really good. I didn't have any friends on Xbox. I was one of those guys that, you know, just kind of muted his mic when he played, or, you know, just kind of listened in. Which, by the way, you could be missing out on a really good friendship with someone if you don't talk, you know, everybody listening. Because the deal is, I actually met my best friend playing Halo, man. Like, I was in San Antonio, he was in Missouri. Long story short, after 10 years, because I played with him one night, I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I think I just met my best friend. You know, she laughed at me, right? You know, like, okay, you know, first Xbox Live, right? It was the Mythic Mac Pack for Halo 3. Well, anyway, long story short, we now live like 10 minutes from the guy in Missouri. So,
wow.
Yeah, you know, it's all because of a Bungie game, man. But that's, you know,
amazing.
Started doing that, and I was decent. I was really good at helping out some of my friends, man. Like, you know, Call of Duty. I had a guy that had like a 0.5 KD. We worked him up to almost like a 1.8, 1.9, 2 KD player in Call of Duty. So I decided, you know, we're going to get into YouTube when Destiny came out, and you know, that's kind of where I am. I only cover Destiny. I love the game, but it's gonna be Halo and Bungie. That's where it all started.
Right on. Yeah, that's such a common factor. It's like it's like weird to me that Swain and Bones was like, we're not Halo guys, and I didn't play online and stuff, but even I was just like, this is the best game in the world. But yeah, always from the same place. So let's talk about your stuff, your YouTube channel. What kind of reviews do you like to do, and what would you say your approach to reviewing gear or weapons is usually?
So when I first started my channel, man, I did it with my Xbox using whatever it's called. And the quality was really bad, but I got really good feedback. So I decided to keep on going. And ultimately, my channel is kind of centered around, of course, weapon reviews. I got picked up by Planet Destiny. I was with them for a long time, like the Hopscotch Pilgrim review and the Tlaloc. Mm-hmm. If you guys remember that, that weapon. Oh man. Yeah. But, you know, I was with them for a long time, man. And people have just kind of followed me along, and I have a really good community over in my comment section. You guys are awesome. But, you know, I'll do reviews, and I'll do things like, you know, setups, fall off distance, things like that. Just really breaking it down. Like I just did the Ahumkar spine. So I'll do armor and all that. But all through Destiny, my channel is really kind of centered around player growth and getting better at the game. And it's kind of difficult in Destiny 2. It's getting ready to open up. I mean, obviously with the weapon slot changes, TTK. And I haven't done too many on that, but that's really what it's all about for my channel. Player growth, getting better at the game. Cause I always felt that no matter if you're a weekend guy, if you're a player that, wants to get really good at the game, casual, whatever it is, the game's a lot more enjoyable when you're doing well. So that's kind of where I come from with my content. Does that make sense? Not just getting completely smashed on every time you get on and you end up going to bed upset. Like that's, you know, video games are supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's my main deal. A lot of PvP. I'm not the best player. I'm decent, but really that's what it's all about.
Well, I've noticed you do actually kind of like a really amazing variety of reviews, and you kind of choose weapons that might not be the meta or might not be, what everyone on the internet is talking about, like the IMSET and, the medley and stuff like that. Like, do you find there's something to gain, like if you're trying to work on your skills to try those guns, or like what kind of draws you to reviewing something like that?
So it's generally because they're set perks. It's generally a perk or not. Like the MSET was a vanilla Destiny 2 hand cannon, and that was more of a PvE review because it's one of the only hand cannons that has Firefly, right? So you can put the Ophidians on and you can get some real work done, but I've never seen it talked about. So I think like last month I was like, well, let's talk about it a little bit. I still use that weapon fairly consistently. And I also did the Foregone Conclusion. I believe that was called the new Warmind fast rate of fire auto rifle. Mm-hmm. And the deal with those is, I broke it down, what it's good at, what it's not good at, what the perk's doing for it. Because ultimately, I mean, new players, even if it's not, quote, the meta, right, will find a weapon and it just is drawn to it. Like I have a friend that loves the Halfdan, right, that the high impact AR, it has Outlaw, and it does decent, right? But it's one of those things like, dude, we're playing Trials, you need to put Vigilance Wing on. But he's like, no, I'm using the Halfdan. But the Foregone Conclusion can be that for somebody. So it's one of those, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody even review the thing, So there's certain weapons that I feel that can do decently, and there's something about it that makes it kind of special. I'd like to talk about it. So that's my whole point with all of those. I mean, and then of course the bigger weapons, right? Like I'm working on a Redrix right now, the Claymore, and that gun's just ridiculous. But
yeah, I've seen you posting some clips.
Oh man, dude, it's a silly weapon.
I'm like halfway there. I hope I can pull it off by the end of season 3, whenever that comes to a close. I'm real close.
So I'm curious, how have you personally handled the switch from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2? Because a lot of people, I know with myself, it gave me the option to kind of be a little bit more casual with my gameplay. I wasn't like in it as much as I was in Destiny 1. How did you handle that switch when everything kind of shook up?
So at the core of the game, I think it's really good, right? The core gameplay is still kind of there, but when they took away some stuff, they added some stuff. I mean, for the set roles, when I was first thinking about it, I was like, well, for that to work, there needs to be hundreds of weapons. I mean, there's got to be hundreds of weapons for a set role system to work. Because, when you get a better Devils, you're going to get a better Devils, and you're going to get a better Devils, and it's just the better Devils, right? Mm-hmm. So, and ultimately, when you have a system like that with, let's say, 100 weapons or whatever it is, there's going to be outliers, right? So a weapon like the Might of Multi-Tool will rise to the top, or a weapon with Tap the Trigger like the Uriel's Gift with high caliber rounds, that's going to rise to the top. So what ended up happening is we already know what's good. It's going to do well. And until they change the 6v6, 4v4 is a different beast on how it plays. I personally like that tactical, kind of like Halo feel in 4v4. But the deal with Destiny is Destiny needs to kind of shine, right? There needs to be big jumping abilities and throwing knives and all these crazy things. It's not really an arena shooter, if that makes sense. And honestly,
sure,
Overwatch just does it best. There's not really too many arena shooters now that go back to the Halo days. But currently with the game, I mean, 6v6 is playing really well, but throughout vanilla Destiny 2, I should say, I mean, I go play some Fortnite every now and then because it came to a point to where it's the same experience every single time you're playing it. Like right now, a lot of people are using Graviton, but you can use a lot of different variety of weapons with the buffs and things that they've done.
At least for me, it was always, I was always fine with it because I do have a limited amount of time to begin with. So like hitting it short and sweet was always fun for me at the beginning of Destiny 2. But I'm realizing now, like as I am playing quick play this week, that everything is like, oh my God, it feels like the old days. Like kind of just hop
amazing.
On and do quick play for 5 hours and be like, ah, crap, I played for 5 hours. Is there something like during this like quick play that you're really enjoying right now? So
I've noticed, I mean, they got the player pool, I mean, expanded. I mean, I'm seeing level 2s in there, man. Now,
oh yeah.
So here's the deal with that. I mean, for the low players, if they have a fresh account, I do feel that there should be a filter in place to kind of match them with a little bit newer players. Because this guy got this brand new blue hand cannon. He loves it to death. It's awesome, but he gets Redrix Claymore. Like, does that make sense? So hopefully they put a filter in place for newer players. But I've noticed since everybody that you go against isn't running meta all the time, like I said, I've been killed by the half-dan today, right? And nobody uses that gun besides for my friend, if that makes sense.
All day yesterday, I was using Skyburner's Oath.
Yeah, so
in 6v6, and I was doing well. Like I did well, we won.
There's so much more variety, and since there's 4 more players on the board, nobody's really watching lanes, if that makes sense. And you can go out and do your own thing. I mean, the big thing right now is the Karnsteins. If you're an aggressive player, they're so good because you can get a lot of chaining abilities together with that, and especially if you pop a rift down, you're basically unstoppable. So there's different things you can do. The Ahmkar Spines on the Gunslinger is another good thing for 6v6. Whereas otherwise, if you're in 4v4, it's either Worm Husk or bust if you're playing, even quick play, because it was kind of a competitive setting in quick play, if that makes sense. Because everybody wants to try really hard and do well. They've done a phenomenal job, though, man. I love it. Yeah, the larger teams just means more variety, more sort of chance to just have something different happen. But hey, you mentioned the Ahmkar Spine. And so funny thing is last week we wanted to talk about these updated armors, and turns out none of us turned on our hunter all week, which is Bert's job. And we can blame him because he's not here.
It's not my fault. I play Titan.
Yeah, people know that Swain's going to play Titan. It is Bird's responsibility to test out the hunter stuff, which he failed to do. And we'll have a talk to him about that.
He's been reprimanded. So
yes, but you got to tell us, what are you liking out of? It's got Lucky Raspberry, Stompies, and the Ahmkar Spine. Which one of these updated exotics is really standing out for you?
I'm going to say the Spines, man, because and we'll go through them real quick. The deal with the Lucky Raspberry, man, really good PvE weapon, or exotic armor now, I should say. Getting 4 tags and then getting Arc Bolt back. It's really good in Escalation Protocol. That's fine. But the deal with the Lucky Raspberry has always been, in vanilla Destiny, it was all right because you knew what you got out of it. And it was one of the, quote, stronger vanilla exotics for an Arc Strider. Because remember, the Arc Strider was a little bit slower back then. But now it's either going to hit or it's not, right? And it's one of those things that you're going to get your Shade Step every 15 or so seconds, 20 seconds, so you can use the Worm Husk. And the deal with the Stompies, it's very responsive. You guys have used Strafe Jump. Feels like Bones of AO from Destiny 1. You can do a lot of good things with that. But the Ahmkar Spines, man, the neutral game that you have with it, and like I said, I recently did that video on it. The deal with it is, did you guys kind of walk through in your past video or your past podcast of what they're doing?
We just skipped over the hunter stuff, basically. Really? But yeah, they enhanced the trip mines again, which sort of makes me feel like they're sort of bringing back what they were once from D1. Not to say that they're the same, but they were really dominant in D1. It was a very common grenade.
Yeah. So they increased the blast radius, and all that really means is at the end of 10 meters, that's the blast radius, it's going to do max damage of 160. Whereas a regular trip mine would do 40 or 50 damage at that distance. The health is about 100, meaning it'll take 7 scout rifle shots to take it out instead of you just one-shotting it if you didn't have the spines on. You throw them a little bit faster. You don't get hit by your own grenade anymore. That's a big plus, right?
Yeah.
That's a big plus. But the main thing is solar ability hits give you 33% grenade damage, right? So you throw the trip mine out, you get a tag, you get 33% of your grenade back. The top skill tree has the explosive knife. So you throw the explosive knife and it counts as 2 hits, one for the knife, one for the explosion. So that's 66%. So if you do that combination, you have your trip mine back. So you can do a lot of things, man. I went on a 37 streak using that, just chunking trip mines, just chunking grenades. And, and if you don't have anything, you pop your golden gun, you get, you kill 3 people with it, you got your trip mine back, because that's also a solar ability. The neutral game's really back on the gunslinger, man. And
and it sounds like it's giving a purpose to knives, which are, not the best ability for just flat out kills. But if they're giving you grenades just on contact, then that gives them sort of a new purpose.
Yeah, even if you miss them, right? They are the bottom tree. If you miss the precision to get the knife back, you're at least getting 33% more back on the trip mine. So you're always working with 2 cooldowns. And I actually recommended that you run 3 melee mods, because the gunslinger is the only one that can have 3 throwing knife mods or melee ability mods. So you're always working on that throwing knife, and even if you miss the knife, you could tag them with the explosion. So you miss the knife, but you still get 33% because you did 2 damage on an explosion. It's a beautiful exotic, man. It works so well.
Damn. Birds, where were you on that? We need to help these people out. We're slacking. Oh, that sounds great, though. I mean, I do actually kind of like Gunslinger, and we'll see if everyone's just using the new was it knife fan of knives or whatever soon. But in the meantime, that sounds like a really solid exotic, especially for 6v6, where there's just so many people to trip over your grenades.
Oh, and I heard that one of the new subclasses, or the new Gunslinger one, that's going to have burning damage on the throwing knife. If that's the case, if it's going to tick out, I mean, you might get a full grenade. I mean, yeah, there's a lot that goes into the spines, man.
Damn. Okay, well, we're on the topic of exotics. Should we just jump into this segment we wanted to do?
Oh, let's do it.
Sure. I mean, I also want to know, what. I mean, we were talking about briefly there, but like, are you excited for anything in particular at Forsaken when it comes to like subclasses and all that?
So I got to play Gambit, man, and I 110% used that bow, and I was on the Warlock. So you pop that shield, you get, I think it's essentially kill clip. I think you get 30% more damage. And you get an overshield. And I talked to Robbie, I mean, the mastermind behind Gambit. He said it gives you 1/3 total health. So it ends up being, it's weird how they do it. So it ends up being essentially kind of an overshield, like plus 100 health. But I actually went into their zone. I was the attacker, man. I used that exotic bow. I was like, okay, I have 40 seconds here. By the way, that thing lasts like 3 minutes, dude. At least it felt like it lasts more than 2 minutes. But like I popped it down, and I think the bow itself does 150 precision, that exotic bow. But when I was in that rift, it'll one-shot headshot people, dude. I got 4 kills in that thing with the exotic bow. Yeah, dude. Okay. So, but something like that, I think, can have a place even in PvP, man, especially in competitive at the end of a round. I'm looking forward to the Warlock. And I'm looking forward, of course, to... I'm a Gunslinger guy. I've always been in D1. So I'm looking forward to see what the knives bring. The super looks really cool. But I'm really more interested in the trees, right? The trees themselves, because honestly, a lot of trees, like if you take the Gunslinger, some of the stuff can be combined, right? So there's Deadeye and then 6-shooter. Like I feel those can be combined, right? You get 6 shots and you're more precise with them, and then they can add something else, if that makes sense. And it's like that with a lot of subclasses, actually. But I'm interested to see those skill trees, pairing those with exotics, weapons or armor, to see what you can get going.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see some changes to the ones we already have too. I mean, that's been hinted at and stuff, and we've seen a little bit of glimpses of that. So there's going to be a ton to test. All right, well, let's do this. Let's do this bit. So we're bringing in CoolGuy for his take on these again, because birds really slacking on the job here. But today, as we are recording this on a Thursday, Bungie drops this trailer featuring new gear of the exotic variety. We've got weapons and armor, and this was a pretty hype trailer. Like, I've watched it 5 or 6 times today, and a lot of what they showed off looks really powerful and really kind of crazy. The power fantasy is just going all over the place. So let's go through this list and let's chat about this stuff and see if any of it's going to be super viable in PvP or really shake up the Crucible. Sound good?
I love it.
Do it.
All right. Okay, so the first one is it looks like the second gun to be made by Dido, I believe it's called, that makes the Jade Rabbit, is the Two-Tailed Fox, which is a rocket launcher that fires 2 rockets at the same time. It kind of just sounds like it's a rocket from D1 that has more than one shot at a time. But it kind of like split and tracked 2 guys.
Yeah,
so
they had
more than
2
that.
Different burns.
Like
one was solar, one was
burns,
art. Yeah.
Wow, that's okay. Yeah, I didn't notice that, but that's definitely something. So it's definitely exotic. It's more than just a rocket with 2, but it looks good. I'm not sure how the tracking works, but if it's able to sort of split off and actually find 2 targets and not sort of, just go for one guy with both rockets, that sounds pretty good.
I feel like I feel like this is how the conversation goes at Bungie, and they're like, I feel like they work backwards from a cool montage idea or like a cool like clip. They're like, would it be cool if you saw like someone shoot a thing and it like shot 2 things and it killed both of the guys at once with a rocket, but they were like really far apart. And then they worked their way to the exotic from that. And that's exactly what this sounds like. I feel like I'm not going to use it all the time, but I do want the one clip of me doing it like the right way once.
Your exotic gun montage is definitely getting a lot longer now.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of stuff.
So like starting off with this one, the ones that we're getting ready to talk about, like spoilers, obviously, but they've done a phenomenal, fantastic job. Like these are exotics, right? And as far as this two-tailed fox, I generally run 90 RPM grenade launchers a lot and shotgun. Now I do run launchers every now and then. So what's cool about this, right? Heavy bricks drop on the ground. It's one of those you pick up and go, right? So when I run a launcher, I'm one of those, I'm taking a position with it. So I immediately grab ammo, I'm going to position, I'm taking it, I'm shooting my rocket. So a brick drops on the ground. You have this two-tailed fox that shoots 2 rockets. So you immediately pick it up, immediately load it and shoot it down. So it's shooting 2. And if they track, like that could be pretty big as far as the Crucible, right? If you're one of those, if you pick up heavy and go type players. Yeah,
definitely in the more, the chaos of 6v6 or maybe even something like Gambit if you're just going to push across and you want those fast kills in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've always liked it. I think there was a thread on the playbook not too long ago that I jumped in on. I was just like, why would I? It was like, why should I use a rocket launcher in PvP? And I was just like, well, I mean, if you kind of aren't the best at using like I think they also like gave shit to like their teammates. Like, why are you using a rocket? It's like, well, if you aren't the best, like one guaranteed kill from your blueberry is like so much better than like them picking up like fusion rifle shots and whiffing all 5 or whiffing 3 and getting killed and giving up 2 to, the enemy team. So, I like rockets every once in a while, especially when you go to pick up ammo off the ground. Like it's going to give you 1 rocket.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
I have a buddy of mine that runs the Wardcliffe coil, and like he's a really good player, but that's his mentality. Like when he's got the tracking catalyst, right? So he'll just run, pick up that brick and go and just get a quick kill and keep on moving.
There you go. See?
Okay, next we have a sword, the Black Talon, that is just called a projectile sword. But what we saw in this clip was a Titan doing the 3 swipe combo, and then he just hopped straight up in the air and threw out a blade of energy like the days of old. And it looks like it just comes off of the aerial move. There's not a big animation or anything like a full spin or that charge up like we've seen from exotics now. What did you guys think about this one?
Reminds me of Dawnblade.
Yeah, kind of.
Just the way Dawnblade kind of works, and you throw the sword. So I don't know. Other than that, like it feels nice to have a sword that does a cool thing aside from like teleporting. Like having exotic swords that do cool stuff is like so D1. Like I would love, obviously they threw the reflecting something into a different exotic, but
it's the Titan montage cool loadout right there, dude.
Bounce a rocket off, throw some swords at people. Yeah, it definitely seems to sort of combine the best of the both worlds of a couple exotic swords. And this one, I think this one is kind of going to at least go to the top of all swords, because while the teleport one is cool that we have now, very, very dope, it kind of keeps you out of harm's way if you're using a projectile instead. And it depends on how fast that projectile is. But you're always, more safer if you're not ending up within melee range of your target or something like that. And you get to sort of control where your damage is being done, but staying back and staying safe. So it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, it looks good. Especially, it gives you a sword that you can be fairly aggressive with. A lot of times I see teammates pick up the sword. They're kind of in a corner waiting, waiting for somebody. Yeah. Like the quick fang hunter is the worst. Oh my God. But like people are grouped up, right? At the end of a choke point or at the end of a lane, you throw that sword, back them off. You can just kind of move up with it. So
yeah, next we have 1,000 Voices, which appears to be a trace rifle that appears as if you shoot it anywhere at a target or on the ground, and that line of fire explodes. This is definitely going to be a gun that if you die to it in the Crucible, you will probably just laugh and you can't even get mad, because right now it looks really wacky, but very fun.
Yeah. It kind of feels Telesto-y, right?
Yeah. I don't really know of much other guns besides Telesto that really creates that. Well, I guess we got like the Prospector now. So they're sort of adding another one to those things where it's about laying traps and just things explode when you step on them. But this one looks really funny.
I'm interested to really see what damage it's doing, right? Precision and body shot damage. I think that's going to be the main defining factor for me, because I don't know, maybe if you hit somebody with it, does it still explode? Like, is it double damage on that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does it just flat out damage, or does it always pop? That is interesting. Well, that could be lethal if it always explodes.
Or maybe they're backed up against the wall and you're missing shots, but you're hitting the wall and it's exploding, right? So it could have a place, right?
I just want to like draw something and then have that explode.
GG.
Yeah, like a GG, and that's what kills everyone.
That's actually kind of really cool.
Yeah.
I love trace levels, man. I love to see another one. They kind of keep them all having their own unique thing, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's keep going. This is a very interesting one. I feel like Titans have a habit of having these exotics that really make you think, but this one is called Antaeus wards. No one's ever gonna say that word right for the rest of Destiny now. We'll just be forever trying to pronounce Antaeus. But the Antaeus wards slide to reflect projectiles. We saw a little bit of a sort of reflecty shield, almost like a juggernaut shield, but the Titan slides and a rocket hits it and it bounces back. The key word here I think we need to focus on is projectiles, because I believe that not everything in Destiny is considered that just because it's being shot by a gun and stuff like that. So really interested to see what qualifies as a projectile, and can Titans reflect damage back consistently to get kills, or is it just for the highlight clip where you bounce a rocket back? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, if it's everything, I'm always sliding. So, like, it'd be a nice, like, passive thing if someone's, like, you slide a corner and someone's shooting at you, if it can, like, kind of prevent you from getting hurt by it, like, by shooting it back. I don't know. If it say you turn a corner and someone's got a shotgun, does it reflect the shotgun pellets back?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you're absolutely correct. Like, what's going to be a projectile? Like, are we talking golden gun, or Nova bomb? Different types, like you said, shotgun pellets. Honestly, I think it's going to be just one of those montage type things. It's going to have a place in Mayhem, right? I mean, I'm definitely going to use them in Mayhem. But other than that, I think it's kind of like a niche thing going for clips type deal. But who knows? It really depends on what they consider a projectile, what you can actually deflect back.
Yeah. We don't know the full extent of this. And like I said, there is a visible shield. And while it doesn't say, you're not receiving damage from stuff, it could just give you a little shield for a bit in slides, which then becomes a nice aggressive play style move for shotgunning and stuff like that. But I think the funny part is that bows are described by Greg Peng as, when fully charged, they're hit scan, but you can do sort of a half pull and they become projectiles. Maybe the projectile arrows can be deflected and you can just kill people with bows. And there's going to be like a ton of bows on the map because it's a new weapon type. So like for the first month, these legs will be great because everyone's like figuring out how to use bows. But yeah, we'll see, because projectiles, that really, really determines if this becomes some sort of Crucible staple or not. But one that CoolGuy, you said you got to play with, is this? I believe if this is the same one. This is the exotic bow called Trinity Ghoul, where precision kills create electrical storm arrows. Is that the one they had in the Gambit preview?
Correct, but it was different. I think that you needed 2 or 3 precision to get that perk going. It looks like it's just going to be a precision kill creates the arrows, but I got it to proc twice, and the area of effect was pretty big, believe it or not. It felt good, right? It's the only bow that I use. Like I said, I probably use it 90% of the time, right? Just going into their enemy and use it on the bosses. But I did notice with the bows themselves, if you're not hitting critical, like they're very, very subpar, man. Like they do, even with fully charged. It wasn't doing well at all. So you need to land your crits with it. But it was cool, dude. It was cool when it went on. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has a pretty sizable explosion, but it's kind of, to me, it sounds like the Arc Polaris Lance, which is my favorite gun right now, but it does require 4 precision kills or precision hits to get that final explosion round. And while I can proc that really consistently in the Crucible, I don't always have something to do with that explosive round. So with bows, there's quite a difference in rate of fire and stuff. So maybe you'll be able to sort of pick and choose your target for that. But yeah, it looks cool. Definitely shiny. Okay, we'll get right to this one too, because it's another exotic bow.
This one's beautiful.
Oh yeah, this one looks really cool. It's called Wish Ender. You can see through walls and overpenetrate targets. This could be disgusting, honestly, if you can wall hack, basically. I don't know. This one seems like it's going to be a Crucible thing just for that advantage alone. The overpenetrate targets is nice if people are lined up for that perfect shot, but just being able to see where they're going and where they're coming from, it depends on how far, but that is pretty strong.
Yeah, it feels like that one's probably going to be a power ammo one.
Yeah, you might be right.
If you're like, I would think a lot of things overpenetrate, like fusion, like not fusion rifles, but like linear fusion rifles, sniper rifles, obviously overpenetrate, and you can get like collats with. So like, if this can kill on a headshot collat, like that just seems like a sniper rifle at that point.
Yeah, it looked like it was killing in one shot to the critical. And, you know, radar, right? And depending on if they bring radar back or not in comp, and it's going to be used heavily, I think, from all different, good players, casual players that are getting into comp. It's one of those things, too. And if you noticed, it was an actual like silhouette of your enemy. It's not like a little, what is it, like a little X, like with a Night Stalker.
Yeah, it's pretty full picture.
You actually see them, right? So that's really strong on its own.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was thinking you could just use it for call outs, even if they never push around that corner and you don't get the montage clip. You can still tell your team, oh, he was coming, or he just backed off, or he's reloading, or what. Such just seems super strong. But yeah, I mean, Swain, you might have a good point. That seeming so powerful and hitting headshots for kills and stuff could delegate it to the power slot. And I know we have multiple archetypes of bows, and this one looks like a long bow, which I would just assume maybe more range, higher damage, so maybe closer to the sniper.
And I wonder how far it's going to take that out, right? Like how many meters is it going to pick up? Yeah.
Like, can you just see through to the other side of a building? Probably not, or how close do they have to be to the wall? There's a lot to figure out with this one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to get into.
Yeah. Okay, the next one, CoolGuy. I can see this being one that you like as a hunter. This one looks nuts. I think a lot of people are just excited that they can do it again. But the 6th Coyote, I think it's a chest piece, right? For hunters. And it allows double dodging. What do you think about that one?
So any hunter exotic, right? It in my opinion, for PvP, it needs to be brought up to Worm Husk status, right? And it's one of those things, the double dodge, especially with the gambler's dodge, things like that. I mean, you could chain stuff together. Like, I'm pretty sure you can go for like the triple throwing knife on somebody to the body, right? You just go around shade stepping all over the place. It depends on if it's going to be, you get a 18-second cooldown. Do you just get 2 dodges at that point to use whenever you want? Are they going to be on separate cooldowns? If it's on separate cooldowns, that wouldn't really matter. The dodge is fairly quick. But you can do probably some really cool things with shotgun and shading, depending on what you want to do with the 2 dodges. I mean, if you're close with the throwing knife, you can get your throwing knife back and just dodge around people. I don't know, dude. It's one of those things I'll just have to get into to see what playstyle is going to work with it. But Worm Husk, really strong. The Ahamkar, or the spines are really good for the gunslinger, but it sounds like a fun exotic. We'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah. Do you think there's any utility with I mean, I almost feel like it would be redundant then to do the reload dodge, because, the 2nd one essentially does nothing, but I wonder if you can just like squeeze in a lot more melee recharges with dodge with that one. But yeah, and I do sort of like that. From what I can tell, I can't, there's no way to know, but it does sort of seem like it's just a passive exotic that works across all 3 subclasses, which offers a lot more utility with it and a few more styles than just saying like Night Stalkers get double dodge. So I like that feature, and I hope that's the case. I could be wrong.
Double dodge.
All right, 2 more. This one is the one that everyone thought was foreign in the trailer, and I don't know when people are going to learn. It's never Thorn, okay? It's not, Crimson wasn't Thorn, and this one wasn't Thorn. But this one's called Malfeasance, and it looks like it's a 180 archetype for a hand cannon, and 5 hits detonate an explosion. Looked like a pretty sizable one, and it also doesn't look like it requires crits at all. So this is like the up close and personal Polaris Lance where you just hit body shots and it's going to explode. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, do I get hurt by it?
That's a good question. Does it blow you up?
I think that's really big without it being critical, man, because depending on how much that explosion does, you can kind of be lax on your aiming a little bit. And they talk about the TTK changes. Maybe going from one target to the next and you're getting low on ammo. Maybe you land 2 on one Guardian and then 3, but the explosion's enough to actually get the kill on the second guy. It could have utility.
That's a good point, because maybe it doesn't take 5 shots to kill a Guardian anymore, or a lot less if anyone's damaged. That's a really good point. Yeah, it seems like it sort of also, makes up for these guns that are just not the best for crowd control, because there's the same amount in a mag, but you require more shots. So I feel like, people are really telling me to use them. I don't doubt that there's people doing work with them, but every time I try, it's like, okay, I just used 75% of my magazine
there's no
for
more
this
left.
one engagement, and now I have to reload, and it's a super slow reload. That drives me insane.
Yeah, I hate reloads and everything. The one thing I'm thinking about with all of these things is, are they going to have masterworks to make them cooler?
Probably.
I would imagine.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's hope. And
the 2-tailed fox becomes the 3-tailed fox.
There you go.
Fires 3 rockets at once, one of each element. It's the ultimate nightfall gun.
I'm on to you, Bungie.
Okay, last but definitely not least, I think this is going to be the first time I put on a Warlock chess piece in like 3 years. This one's called Chromatic Fire Element Explosions from Kinetic Kills. Obviously, that is the new PvE go-to. I can't see a place where you're not loving that in a raid or something like that. Cool guy, do you think this has any viability in Crucible, or is other stuff just going to be, just better?
So Crucible's tough, but if you think about the grand scheme of what this thing's doing, can you imagine the Crimson with Firefly? Along with getting your health back, along with not reloading with precision hits, and things even the Huckleberry, dude, the Huckleberry with Firefly, getting Rampage, it has a lot. It's a very strong exotic, or even the Mida, right? God. Even the Mida with the Outlaw Catalyst is basically turning any gun into a Fatebringer that has Outlaw, right? As far as utility for PvP, the Firefly, I mean, it depends on what they do with that explosion, right? Because Dragonfly itself, it's decent. It'll do some good chunk damage, but maybe you're in CQC, like I said, with a Huckleberry and getting that perk just really fast and going, and it's getting your ammo back when you get a kill, and people are chunked up, and you're just like an onslaught of bullets at someone. I mean, it really depends. You have to try it out on a couple different weapons. Ultimately, some bigger ones are going to probably be better off, but I mean, it could have a place. We'll just have to dig into it.
I think the best way to categorize everything here is that I think they love showing off exotics when they're really cool. There's a cool looking or cool, have a cool task, something that happens when they do it. But they also tend to hide the really good stuff from us. So stuff that I would say you can categorize it between they show off the quick play stuff and they hide the comp stuff, so that you don't see it until it either drops or secretly drops, or someone figures it out. Because a lot of these feel like the quick play stuff, 2-tailed fox, and when 2 rockets at a time,
flashy.
Yeah, it's something that you're going to look to try and use that one perk, and it's going to be really hard. But when you do, it's going to be really satisfying. Mm-hmm. Whereas other things, I could see maybe the 6 Coyote becoming a comp thing. If it's utilized well and you can use it all the time, you used to a D1.
Straight neutral game.
Yeah. So there's a lot to it here, but this isn't all the exotics we're getting. There's for sure going to be some stuff that we have not seen. There's even stuff in the trailer that doesn't have names. So who knows?
But like, there's
Did I forget to cover the one that's on the cover of the Forsaken?
Ace of Spades?
Yeah. Did we talk about that? It probably should have been last. I mean, it makes more sense. Oh yeah, Ace of Spades returning from D1. And this one just says reloading after kill gives extra damage bullets. Now, Ace of Spades, didn't it originally have Firefly, or am I wrong? Because in this little clip, it also does look like these things are blowing up. Yeah. I don't know if that's the enemy type or what.
And every time that you got a precision hit, it got one back, correct?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that's kind of paired in there, or it's one of its additional perks. But the reload animation is cool. Yeah, I'm sure we'll all get this like at the end of the campaign or something. That's what I'm assuming.
In Kill Clip itself is just one of the best perks in Destiny, period.
Truly, yeah.
You know, in the PvE aspect, you know, you're getting your Firefly kills and then extra damage after reload. And I don't know if you guys ever use Old Fashioned, right? I was actually using that today with a new. I just got that EP SMG. Mm-hmm. I was having a lot of fun with that, man. Like I was using
I love that one.
The quick draw Home of the Lost, the high impact hand cannon.
I love that.
Basically, when you shred somebody, it does 107 damage after you take their shields down with that Icalos. But you know, you get a lot of things with that Ace of Spades, man. I think it's going to be good in PvE and PvP.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see how it sets itself apart. Because, like you said, Kill Clip is automatically a good perk to be using. If this is more exotic than that in some way, I think it'll be seeing some use. But yeah, it'd be nice to have an old favorite back. If anyone, I'm sure it was someone's favorite gun.
Right? If they catalyst that thing with Outlaw, like the world's going to stop.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, CoolGuy. Right off the bat, we just talked about all of these, and they're all gonna see play because they're new and shiny. But what do you think has right off the bat like the single biggest impact on the Crucible out of this list?
On the Crucible, it's tough because we don't really know how the bows are gonna take place into the meta, right? Right. So I don't really feel comfortable talking about those because we just don't know. But just looking at them, probably the three that stand out. I mean, there's a 6 Coyote. Most importantly, with the Arcstrider skill tree, that when you're harder to hit while dodging, it does like half damage. So, like if you're in a sticky situation, you dodge twice, and people aren't really getting good damage on you, like that could be a thing. And that's the first thing I thought about when I saw the 6 Coyote.
Yeah, for sure.
The 5 detonates an explosion. Malfeasance. I forget. That one, like I said, the first thing I thought...
Thorn 2.
Thorn 2? The second coming. The first thing I thought was getting damage on one, killing them, but moving on to another target and getting an explosion, kind of like the Polaris Lance, just like you were talking about. So that stood out to me. And then kind of a cheeky thing, the Bolt Caster sword, the Black Talon. I honestly think swords aren't in the best spot in PvP. For the most part, people are just kind of hiding with them, then rushing out. But I think that you can be aggressive with this one, and especially if it acts like it did in D1 with Boltcaster. That was one of my favorite things to do. It could have a place. But on the PvE side, of course, that Warlock exotic, sorry, Chromatic Fire, like that one's tough, dude.
Yeah, that's just like going to be one you're just going to want to put on. It's like, okay, all right, Void Burn, Nightfall. Put on Void Walker, go in, and then all Void guns, and now your kinetic is part of that too, and using the burn. Assuming burns still work in the same way, but it looks like just one of those, like, always have it on you, throw it on when there's nothing super specific you need to do. It looks pretty consistent.
And I always pay attention when like devs talk about like things after reveals. And I think I saw someone today talk about how they love to yell when they get malfeasance kills in test environments. And it's like, oh, all right, there might be something here.
Yeah, they might be playing with it a lot.
Then there's just a whole bunch of new weapons that we don't even know about yet. Probably new perks, the mod system. The big thing is TTK, right? They went and confirmed that the TTK is going to be changed, as you guys saw in that Game Informer gameplay. 600 RPM, which was doing, I believe, 17 right now, was doing 21. but it was doing the same body damage. So they're going to go ahead and invest in precision damage, which I think is a pretty big deal for the Crucible. And if that's the case, they go all the way around the board with, go back to a 3-shot hand cannon, go back to a 3-shot high impact scout like Jade Rabbit. The game is going to need that with shotguns in your face, because you're not killing somebody with a better devils when they're knee sliding at you with a shotgun. It's just not going to happen for tapping them down currently. So that's going to be a huge change. And especially, again, with all the new weapons and gear that they're adding, it's a lot to be excited about.
Just the mod system alone. Like, if you can put some of these mods on exotics, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Boy, I'm already overwhelmed. I'm going to have like no life in September. I don't know how it's going to work.
They're doing a good job, man. They're doing a really good job, dude.
I'm like still doing stuff from 1.2.3. I don't have time for this. There's like so much to do. Anyways, CoolGuy, thank you so much for coming on the show, hanging out, talking about some new hype stuff.
Doing Birds' job.
Doing Birds' job, which he completely failed to do 2 weeks in a row now. But we really appreciate it, and we like your stuff. So if people want to see your content, where can they find you on the internet?
Sure. It's youtube.com/CoolGuyTips. Twitch is I_am_CoolGuy. And I'm going to stream a lot more when Forsaken comes out. I'm actually getting a schedule together, but that's where you guys can find me. And I really appreciate you guys having me on, man. I love what you guys do here. Of course. Pleasure to be on here.
Now that we have Discord figured out for you, we should have you back on again.
Dude. Yeah. Don't look at me.
It's really funny. That was like 2 weeks ago, we were like drunk in Tampa together. But yeah.
Singing karaoke.
Whew, what a night. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to have you back. This is really fun. And I'm looking forward to your stuff once Forsaken drops and seeing some reviews. But thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
Well, you made it to the end of the episode.
It's the end.
You know what? Tag us on Twitter if you listen to this part. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Who sticks it out? Does anyone like hear the music after the guest and think, okay, that's done, and then they switch over to Doughboys? Is that what happens? Just let me know.
I think we need to put something like cool at like the very end, so that people will hear about it and be like, ooh, there's something, a tasty treat at the very end of the show. I do tell people listen to the beginning. If they don't like Destiny, I just listen to the beginning and the end.
Stay to the end of next week's episode and get a free burger at Swain's restaurant.
Oh no, not that.
Get a free consultation. What does Birds do for a living? I have no idea.
He's a guy who does stuff.
Play Trials with Birds if you listen to next week's episode.
Yeah. Well, let's make some outlandish promises on Birds' half.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, tag Birds on Twitter and say, tell him to challenge him that he could never beat Swain in a fight. Just taunt him and stuff, and he'll just be confused. Why all these people think he'd ever fight Swain? And
just say really crazy things about me, oh man, but I heard on the podcast Swain is so buff, he's gonna kick your ass, Birds. He's gonna kick your ass.
Just tell Birds how buff Swain is if you're still listening. And also go to crucibleradio.com, follow us on Twitter, hey, check us out on YouTube. We upload the podcast there too. And otherwise, that's it.
I'm just thinking of months from now, someone listening to this podcast back and being I'm gonna @Birds. It's just a threat out of nowhere.
Middle of
7
October,
months from now.
What the hell?
Hello, listener. I'm so glad that you went back into our catalog and re-listened to some episodes about hype going into Forsaken. Oh, Forsaken's great. I'm talking to the future.
And future me, if you go back and listen to this, I hope you're... what kind of free time do you have?
Did you quit your job?
Yeah. Are you homeless? Did you? What happened to you? Get it together. Okay.
Get your shit together,
That's the
future.
End. Pull it together, Future Bones. You're fucking up. Goodbye.
Bye.
What's up, everyone? Bones here. Do you like podcasts? Do you like chill conversation? Well, me and my co-host Swain and Birds put out a bonus podcast every month on Patreon. If you want to check it out and be a part of more awesome stuff, head over to patreon.com/Crucible Radio and join the squad. See you there.